Jude Bellingham was once seen as the brightest gem among Real Madrid's galaxy of stars, the man expected to become the new leader at Santiago Bernabéu. But after that fateful night in Seville on April 27th, that beautiful image shattered. Bellingham is no longer remembered for moments of brilliance, but has instead become the center of criticism, disappointed headshakes, and countless lingering questions. Is Jude Bellingham slowly turning into a ticking time bomb at Real Madrid? The crucial turning point came in the 28th minute, when a misplaced pass turned him from the creative hub into a frozen figure at the center of the pitch. No pressing, no fighting for the ball, no attempt at recovery, just Bellingham clutching his head in despair as he watched Pedri calmly slot home the opening goal for Barcelona. The tragedy deepened when the final whistle blew. Instead of bowing his head in acceptance of defeat, Bellingham stormed straight at referee Ricardo de Burgos with a face full of fury, forcing his teammates to intervene. The red card he received after the match was an inevitable consequence of that uncontrolled outburst. Social media exploded within hours. Clips of Bellingham standing motionless during the goal, images of him coldly ignoring Barcelona's guard of honor, flooded every platform. From a symbol of hope, Jude suddenly became the focal point of an unprecedented storm of criticism. The 2025 Copa del Rey final should have been Bellingham's moment to assert himself as the leader of a new generation. Instead of shining, all that fans will remember is the image of a disoriented, panicked player completely crumbling under pressure. That 28th-minute moment, seemingly small, changed everything. Instead of immediately chasing back after losing the ball, Bellingham just stood frozen, clutching his head as Pedri drove forward and finished clinically. Throughout the match, Bellingham spiraled deeper into frustration, and his cold walk past Barcelona's guard of honor without a glance or gesture only made the negative perception worse. The breaking point came when referee de Burgos blew the final whistle. Bellingham immediately charged at him in anger, earning himself a late red card in a match where he was supposed to be the hero. In just one night, everything collapsed. Viral clips spread like wildfire, and articles dissecting Bellingham's passive reaction during the goal flooded social media. Hundreds of thousands of shares and a barrage of criticism zeroed in on his lack of responsibility and composure at the very moment when Real Madrid needed a leader most. One match, one moment, and Jude Bellingham's soaring career took a dangerous turn. Veteran journalist Anthony Simon from L'Equipe, in a sharp analysis, did not hesitate to compare Real Madrid, and especially Jude Bellingham's behavior, to impulsive children betraying the sporting values they once proudly upheld. Sadly, this was not the first time Bellingham let his emotions overpower his judgment. Immediately, the online community dug up a series of past incidents, from kicking the VAR monitor in the Bernabéu tunnel after the loss to Valencia, to the red card for insulting a referee in La Liga, and even the €40,000 fine in 2021 when he was at Borussia Dortmund for publicly questioning a referee's integrity. From the England national team to Real Madrid, Jude Bellingham has always carried with him an emotional time bomb that has never been diffused. Coach Thomas Tuchel once bluntly warned that if Bellingham could not learn to choose the right moments to unleash his emotions, he would end up burning his own career. Painfully, what unfolded in Seville proved that warning to be absolutely true. In one of the biggest matches of the season, when Real Madrid needed a cool head, Bellingham was the first to lose control. Youth, talent, passion, Bellingham has it all, but without emotional control, those gifts can turn into burdens, dragging him down instead of lifting him higher. Even as the bitter aftermath of the 2025 Copa del Rey final had yet to fade, social media continued to resurface other controversial moments from Jude's past. From the furious kick at the VAR monitor at the Bernabéu, the outbursts and rash comments during his time at Dortmund, to the red card for insulting a referee in La Liga, it has been a long and increasingly worrying string of impulsive action. Even when called up to the England national team, in a calmer atmosphere, Bellingham could not hide the instability in his game mentality. During the training camp in May of 2025, Coach Gareth Southgate had to directly remind him that Bellingham needed to learn how to control himself and choose the right moments to express his personality, or else risk destroying his own shining career. A thought-provoking coincidence emerges. Every time Jude exploded negatively, it happened during matches of peak pressure, from El Clasico to the Champions League quarterfinals and crucial clashes in La Liga. It was precisely in those moments when Real Madrid needed composure the most that Bellingham fell victim to his own uncontrolled emotions. And this is no longer simply a matter of youth. What is happening with Jude Bellingham is just the tip of the iceberg at Bernabéu right now. Before the second leg of the semi-final against Arsenal, Bellingham nearly got into a physical altercation with Antonio Rudiger during training, a heated argument that, without teammates stepping in, could have erupted into an even bigger scandal. The Real Madrid of 2025 is no longer the disciplined and composed team it once was. They are sliding into chaos. 3 red cards in just 1 El Clasico, rough tackles, and constant internal conflicts. And Bellingham, once the greatest hope, is now becoming the symbol of a Real Madrid losing control from within. A generation of Real Madrid players is losing the steel mentality that once helped them dominate Europe. Jude Bellingham was supposed to lead that new generation, but instead of igniting the fire, he is pushing the royal team into a whirlpool of chaos. And if Real Madrid does not regain their old identity, the one that created those legendary comeback nights, this season may only be the beginning of a bitter decline. Right before the second leg of the Champions League semi-final against Arsenal, with the atmosphere tense like a stretched wire, Real Madrid witnessed yet another internal shock. Jude Bellingham and Antonio Rudiger nearly came to blows during a training session at Valdebebas. Thanks to the intervention of teammates, a disaster was narrowly averted. But the flare-up that day was merely the consequence of a prolonged buildup of pressure. Real Madrid, a club once proud of their winning DNA, is now becoming a chaotic collective where shouting matches and red cards have replaced the calm composure they were once known for. The numbers tell the story. 3 red cards for Rudiger, Bellingham, and Lucas Vázquez in a single El Clasico in the Copa del Rey. A negative record never seen before. And the most worrying thing is that these red cards were not the result of tactical sacrifices, but of uncontrolled anger and inflated egos that refused to accept defeat. Real Madrid's problem now is not just about tactics, not just about personnel. It is a deeper issue of losing their core spirit. The spirit that once helped them come back against Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, or Manchester City has now disappeared, replaced by panic and useless aggression. A Real Madrid team that once proudly overcame every challenge now trembles under pressure. Jude Bellingham, the shining gem the club had pinned their hopes on to become the leader of a new generation, is slowly becoming a ticking time bomb at Bernabéu. Instead of inspiring, Bellingham repeatedly appears in headlines for outbursts, red cards, and loss of control on the field. This is no longer just about one individual. It is a sign of a cultural crisis, silently eroding Real Madrid from within. If the royal club does not quickly restore discipline and the core values that built their empire, then this season's failure will not be an accident. It will mark the beginning of a true decline, where even the brightest stars cannot save a team that has lost its way. Bellingham still has a wide-open future ahead of him. Real Madrid still has their history, their prestige, and the weight of enormous expectations. But what happened in Seville is a wake-up call. A call for a player once thought to be a new symbol, and for a team struggling between their glorious past and an uncertain future. Amid the crushing pressures and the storm of criticism, Real Madrid and Jude Bellingham himself must answer a fundamental question. Who do they truly want to become?